So, good day everyone. We are the Group 6 and we're here to present the unethical religious practices in religious organization. Here are all the topics that will be discussed in this presentation, which is sexual abuse, religion as a business, and manipulative wrong information.
And first, let's begin with sexual abuse. Sexual abuse is a religion's organization. It is a serious crime and violation of fundamental human rights. And it is critical to keep in my mind that any institution, including place of worship, is susceptible abuse. In order to protect their members from abuse and damage religion organization, they must be provide them a secure and moral atmosphere for all individuals. Here are some examples of religious sexual abuse. First, it was revealed that many Catholic priests has sexually abused children and minors over a period of decade, and that the church has covered up this abuse and protected the priests for persecution. The scandal involved thousands of victims and led to significant change in the way the Catholic Church handled allegation of sexual abuse. And the second example, sexual abuse scandal in Jehovah's Witness, an organization. In the recent years, there has been a numerous allegation of sexual abuse by Jehovah's Witness elders and other members, and of the organization's failures to properly address and report as abuse. Unethical behavior for the religion. So, Dalai Lama varies and with his teacher sexual abuse. The Tibetan spiritual leader told Dutch TV he has known about the sexual crime in Europe since the 1990s. He was presented with the written accounts from 12 alleged victims from Belgium and the Netherlands. The Dalai Lama acknowledged learning of sexual assault and committed 5 structure against their student in Europe. And during the fourth day visit to the Netherlands, 12 of the alleged victims who claimed Tibetan Buddhist teacher has mistreated them physically and psychologically in the Netherlands and Belgium. The Tibetan spiritual leader on Friday at the hotel in Rotterdam for approximately 20 minutes, and he promised to bring up the issue and gathering of Buddhist structure in November. Such as a careless and unethical behavior has always been condemned by the Dalai Lama. And for the crime with the hashtag #MeTooHintChinese Buddhist. A Buddhist abbot in China is accused of sexually harassment female worshipper. With the hashtag of #MeToo movement is not new to the country, yet victims have little chance to recourse as the state is aimed to protect powerful and perpetrator. So, the peaceful Longquan Temple is located a busy Beijing neighborhood in northwest China. Sai Chuxing, the abbot of the temple, has been accused by 2 of the monks thereof sexual harassment, chloroquine, taking advantage of a weak individual, embarrassment, and Buzzfeed. Although no police inquiry has been started, the state of administration for the religious affairs had declared that it will look into the paper accuracy. As the head of the China Committee of the Religion Affairs, Su Cheng is a tempestuous, powerful, and mocks with strong ties to the Chinese communities or Communist Party. And for the society, with the hashtag #MeToo movement, Meet China Free Will, a group of Chinese and feminists are fighting back on social network against the widespread or widespread sexual harassment and university, but the fight has been taught as they face a censorship and government crackdown. So, in an open letter published on the Chinese social media site of Weibo, and Lu Sisi, a computer scientist currently residing in Silicon Valley, accused for the former technology professor of Beihang University of the sexual harassment in 2004. Chinese journalist who started her own hashtag MeToo movement using the WeChat handle ATSH or anti-sexual harassment within a day. Lu published a tale of Weibo and ATHS under her identity, gathering over 3 million views, and while the hashtag MeToo movement inspired Yuan and other Chinese feminists, she told to DW that the China anti-sexual harassment effort was not the same. So the dismissal of and well-known university professors and the Ministry of the Education pledged to take action and positive and institutionalizing and response to sexual harassment. But the censorship and filtering of hashtag and online petition raising concern about the future and coordinated feminist campaign in all nation or in the nation. And for the political, how much do Chinese people care about? So, the Facebook data scandal and Daidu CEO recent remark about the Chinese people law and sensitivity and towards the privacy an issue and hard stride up to hated in discussion. At the time, when the CPC planned a new surveillance project in China, the CEO of China's largest research engaged to Daidu, Robin Lai, and has asserted that the Chinese citizens are willing to exchange privacy for the convenience and for safety and efficiency, sparking an hatred and this debate on the subject of the privacy of China, while Odaidu is likewise to accused of violating users of privacy for the financial gain. So the Chinese internet user attacked Lai for making such as a comment, and Chinese internet firm and have come under the pressure to stop their habit and collecting user data and without an adequately and telling the customer Chinese and netizen to called lie or shameless and underhanded for making such as the statement and ant of financial or Alibaba's unfamous subsidiary for was a force and issue and public apology. So, and financial had to the staff automatically and enrolling our customers in the credit scoring program without their consent.
Religion as a business. Religion is a complex and diverse phenomenon that encompasses a wide range of belief, practices, and traditions, and it is often associated with spiritual or moral values, but there are instances where it has been used as a means of making money or generating profit. Using religion to earn profit is generally considered unethical and exploitative in many religious and ethical traditions. This may include items such as religious books, music, and artwork, as well as services like counseling and prayer sessions. In some cases, these products or services may be sold at inflated prices to generate profit, and it is considered as a form of religious abuse or manipulation when religious leaders or organizations prioritize profit over spiritual growth or community service. It can undermine the integrity of the religious message and cause harm to their followers. Next is false religion. It is impure and defiled as it can be used to justify discrimination or violence against people. Most of the time, matatawag lang natin na false religion ang isang relihiyon when the leaders and their followers tolerate immorality like discrimination. For example is employment discrimination. So, ang kadalasan nangyayari or nararanasan dito sa employment discrimination is when the employer refuses to hire, promote, or provide reasonable accommodation to their employee based on their religious belief or practices. Another example is harassment, like commenting offensive or hostile behavior or derogatory comments to other religion. For example, yung pagsasabi ng why don't you just convert to this religion and save yourself, or you're going to hell because you don't believe in this religious belief. So those are just an example of hostile behavior. Next is false prophets. They lead people astray or promote belief and practices that are not in line with the true teaching of faith. The concept of false prophets is found in many different religions, including Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and Hinduism. In each of these religions, false prophets are viewed as dangerous individuals who can mislead and deceive others, causing them to stray from the path of righteousness. In Christianity, for example, false prophets are warned against in the New Testament, where Jesus himself warns his followers to beware of false prophets who came in sheep's clothing but inwardly are ravenous wolves. Similarly, in Islam, false prophets are seen as individuals who distort the teaching of the Quran and the Hadiths and who seek to lead believers away from the true path of Islam. The Quran believed by the Muslims to be the word of God as revealed to the Prophet Muhammad through the Archangel Gabriel. And hadiths are a collection of sayings and actions of the Prophet Muhammad that have been recorded and transmitted by his companions and later scholars. False prophets in general are seen as individuals who are motivated by personal gain or power, rather than by a genuine desire to spread truth and wisdom. As such, they are often viewed with suspicion and caution by religious communities who seek to protect themselves from their influence. Next is false miracles. It is sometimes associated religious leaders who claim to be able to perform healing or other supernatural acts in exchange for money or other forms of support. They may involve claims of healings, levitations, visions, and apparitions that are presented as proof of the validity that is intentionally staged or fabricated by religious leaders of their followers to promote their own agendas or gain followers. It can be harmful to the individuals and religious communities because it can lead them to confusion and a loss of faith in religious institutions and teachings. They can also be a source of controversy and division within religious communities as different groups may have conflicting interpretations and belief about the nature and validity of miraculous events. Next is ulterior motive. It is a hidden or underlying reason or agenda that is not explicitly stated but may influence the action or belief of individuals or organizations. It may achieving political or economic goals such as gaining power, controlling resources, or influencing public opinion. They may invoke religious principles or symbols to justify their actions or to manipulate others without necessarily being motivated by genuine religious convictions. Next is religious commercialism. Some people and organizations have used religion as a means of making money and have turned it into a business. Other example of ulterior motive and also the unethical practices is the televangelists who solicit donation from viewers in exchange for promised blessings or healing. Ito yung nagsasagawa ng mga healing session na kapag dinadasalan nila yung taong may sakit and pagtapos nun, bigla na silang gumagaling. Next is those religious leaders who pressure followers to make large donations or tithe a significant portion of their income. Next is religious organizations that sells products such as blessed water or religious items and in exorbitant prices. And lastly, religious retreats or workshops that charge excessive fees for spiritual guidance or meditation practices. Next slide will be discussed by Ms. Morante.
Manipulative wrong information in religious organization. Manipulative information and spreading wrong or misleading information is considered unethical in any organization, including religious organizations. In fact, many religious traditions stress the importance of honesty, integrity, and truthfulness. This can take many forms, such as making false claims about the group's origins or leadership, spreading apocalyptic or fear-based messages to keep followers in a state of anxiety or dependence, or promoting pseudoscientific or paranormal beliefs without evidence. There have been cases where certain religious organizations have been found to spread manipulative or wrong information to their followers. First example is the People's Temple was a cult led by Jim Jones that gained widespread media attention in the late 1970s when over 900 of its members died in a mass suicide or murder in Jonestown, Guyana. Jones used a combination of isolation, physical and emotional abuse, and mind control techniques to keep his followers loyal to him. I'll discuss further about this religious organization later. Next example is the Branch Davidians, where a religious cult led by David Koresh that gained notoriety in 1993 when the FBI and ATF conducted a siege on their compound in Waco, Texas. Koresh used a combination of religious teachings and apocalyptic beliefs and also manipulation to control his followers. To discuss or to elaborate, People's Temple, it is founded by Jim Jones, and in 1970s, each church was accused by the media of financial fraud, physical abuse of its members, and mistreatment of children. In response to the mounting criticisms, the increasingly paranoid Jones invited this congregation to move with him to Guyana. So, Jonestown, instead, it happened to be the unethical organization that involved in a mass murder suicide that brings a death toll of 909 and one-third of those are children. Next is manipulation. So temple members work long days in the fields and were subjected to harsh punishments if they questioned Jones' authority. Their passports were confiscated, their letters home censored, and members were encouraged to inform one another and forced to attend lengthy late-night meetings. Jones, by then in a declining mental health and addicted to drugs, was convinced the U.S. government and others were out to destroy him. In 1978, a group of former temple members and concerned relatives of current members convinced U.S. Congressman Larry Ryan, a Democrat of California, to travel to Jonestown and investigate the settlement. When Ryan's delegation was about to leave, several Jonestown residents approached the group and asked them for passage out of Guyana. Jones became distressed at the defection of his followers. The congressman and four others were murdered as they boarded their charter planes. So back in Jonestown, Jones commanded everyone to gather in the main pavilion and commit what he termed as revolutionary act. The youngest members of the People's Temple were the first to die, as parents and nurses used syringes to drop a potent mix of cyanide, sedatives, and powdered fruit juice in two children's throats. Adults then lined up to drink the poison-laced concoction while armed guards surrounded the pavilion. For more information, cyanide it is a salt or ester of hydrocyanuric acid. The salts are extremely toxic and used as a poison. And the sedative, it is a drug taken for its calming or sleep-inducing effect.
So, for the conclusion, sexual abuse, treating religion as a business, and spreading manipulative and false information are all unethical religious practices. It is important to hold religious leaders and institutions accountable for upholding ethical standards and prioritizing the well-being of their members. This can be achieved through greater transparency, accountability, and oversight, as well as the commitment to promoting genuine and spiritual growth and connection. To address the issues of sexual abuse, treating religion as a business, and spreading manipulative and false information in the context of religion, here are some of our recommendations as well as the solutions. For the first one is create safe environment. Religious institutions should prioritize creating safe environments for their members by implementing policies and procedures to prevent and respond to instances of sexual abuse. Number 2, foster transparency and accountability. Religious institutions should be transparent about their financial practices and governance structures and should hold themselves accountable to their members. So for number 3, promote education and awareness. Education and awareness campaigns can help to inform members about warning signs of manipulative or false teachings and provide them with the tools to critically evaluate the religious teachings. Number 4 is empower survivors. Survivors of sexual abuse or manipulation in religious settings should be provided with access to counseling, legal services, and other resources that can help them heal and seek justice. So for the last one is support reform. Religious institutions should undertake a comprehensive review of their policies and procedures to ensure that they are promoting the well-being and spiritual growth of their members. Overall, addressing these issues requires a collective effort from religious leaders, members, governments, and civil society organizations. By prioritizing transparency, accountability, and the well-being of members, religious institutions can create safe and supportive environments for individuals to grow spiritually and promote a culture of respect and compassion within religious communities. So that's all for unethical religious practices in religious organization. Thank you.